Okay, let's try to prove this identity. And we start with the left-hand side, and we're going to try and make it look like the right-hand side. And there are two things we need to know in grade 11 we have to memorize. One of them is that the tangent is sine over cosine. So you get 1 mark just for rubbing out the tangent and writing sine over cosine. Now you've got two fractions. If you want to combine two fractions, any two fractions with numbers, there's a way you can do it. You can always get a common denominator by multiplying the two denominators, the two numbers, the two things that are on the bottom. So you go 1 plus sine times cosine. And then, since you've multiplied the bottom by cosine here, you multiply the top by cosine, and it becomes cos squared. And then you have to take, if you go 1 plus sine times cosine, you've multiplied the bottom by 1 plus sine. You have to multiply the top by 1 plus sine. 1 plus sine times sine gives you sine x plus sine squared. Now sine squared plus cos squared, that's another identity. It just equals 1. So all you've got on the top is 1 plus sine x. Now you don't want to multiply this out because you've got 1 plus sine x on the bottom. And whenever you have just multiplication and division, and exactly the same thing on the top and the bottom, they just cancel. And you end up with 1 over cosine x. And that's what the right-hand side is. So it equals the right-hand side. Now here's this trick question here. It's pretty weird. John's calculator's got two buttons that don't work. The tan button is broken and the cos button is broken. How could we figure out what the tangent of 25 degrees is with only a sine button? The cos button and the tan button are gone. Well, you just start off and go, okay, instead of tan x, make it sine over cos. Well, that's a little bit better. Now we don't need the tan button, except we can't use the cos button. So here's the trick. You square both sides. X times x is x squared. And you'd have sine squared over cos squared. I just squared this. But what does cos squared equal? Well, we know that sine squared plus cos squared equals 1. And if that's true, then cos squared must equal 1 minus sine squared. Well, now, if we put this in our calculator and go the sine of 25 times the sine of 25 over 1 minus the sine of 25 squared, we could put that in our calculator. Actually, it'll be smarter to square root both sides. Just put this in our calculator, the square root of sine 25 squared over 1 minus sine squared 25. You could type that into your calculator, and that equals the tangent of 25. Well, maybe that was a little bit tricky and a little bit hard, but obviously we were using the identity thing to try and work with a calculator with two broken buttons. There you go.